this for our YouTube pleasure. All right, good deal. I'm glad everybody's here today. Welcome to the How to Go Federal 2015. We're actually February. There you go. So that was a error in my judgment there, but we are closing up to January still. I'm going to take it. Hopefully everybody's doing well. I'm Dave Lowe. I'm the CEO of ISI Federal. We're going to get right into it today. Today with us we have Jamie Zell. He's our GSA specialist. Say hello, Jamie.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. We got some good stuff coming your way on today's broadcast.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys being here. The numbers that matter most, 232 and 597. If you don't know what they are, we will bring you up to speed on that post haste. And real quick, if you have any questions, you can pop open that right-hand panel there and you can type it into us. And Tasha's actually understanding this because she just said, I can hear you. That's great. Thanks, Tasha. Appreciate it. So we appreciate you guys being here. You can also enter your audio pin if you didn't. I actually just sent one to one of the folks that are here so that you can unmute. We can unmute you and you can be included in the conversation as well. So why are you here today? If you haven't filled this out on your way in, I'd like to know. So fill that out on the right-hand side and let us know why you're here, and we'll include that as part of our conversation. A little bit about us. We do business development in the federal space, and that includes intelligence, getting you smart about the marketplace so that you can actually act on something that actually makes sense instead of the government policies and processes that they put in place for you that don't work. Real quick, some testimonials for us. We find things that others just can't do on their own, and you can't do it on your own either. We've been doing this now for over 6 years in the process. ISI Federal itself is about 5.5 years old, but the processes that we've been incorporating are older than that. Then once we understand who's out there that we have to go after, we have marketing services that we provide to help market your schedules, and we actually can get you schedules as well. So tell us a little bit about GSA schedule development there, Jamie, so that we can help folks who do need a GSA schedule.
You got it, Dave. We do we do a full array of schedule services. For starters, if you don't have a GSA schedule, you're missing a big part of the market because there's a lot of sales that happen directly through GSA, and if you don't have a schedule, you just miss the sales. So as you go into the federal marketplace, you're going to want your GSA schedule. We do that process. And as a short picture version, it works something like this. We first of all build a master set of documentation working together with you at your company to get information about your company, your offering, how it matches up to your appropriate GSA schedule. We put that master set of documentation together, then we get it all ready to go, send it off to GSA electronically, then we begin the longest part of the process, and that's known as the waiting game. And GSA sometimes has to percolate on their desk for a while, but eventually they pull it up for review and post and clarification stage, and also the negotiation phase, which is very important. And another reason why to have a professional on your side helping you get this process done. And once we've satisfied the procurement officer or the PCO at GSA, then your GSA contract gets awarded. And then after that, what we do is go out to gsaadvantage.gov. We upload your offering there. The procurement officer checks that to make sure it matches what they've just approved, and then they turn it on from the inside, making it visible on GSA Advantage, which is like their electronic shopping catalog. And another place that's similar to that is GSA eBuy, and we also upload you to GSA eBuy as well to help increase your presence with the federal marketplace once you have your GSA schedule.
And that's absolutely true. And as you can see, there's a lot of different steps that are involved there. And we can certainly help throughout that process. We can actually take that process off of your table. Jamie loves the paperwork. Don't ask me why, because that's not my world. But when we started offering this as a service, and Jamie and his team have 100% track record in obtaining GSA schedule. So we can actually guarantee you a GSA schedule if you qualify. We can't get you one if you don't qualify, but if you do, we can get you in there. So back on track with this stuff. We also provide dedicated representation in DC because guess what? People buy from people they like, and our job is to get them to like you. And we're going to be talking about some of the tactics that we use so that you can use today for this particular purpose. What we do is we cover events. We put you up in front of folks that you're the featured speakers, there's nothing better than becoming a subject matter expert in the eyes of the people that you want to buy from you. We also stalk decision makers. This is a key thing for when you're after somebody. We go after the people that matter most, and we provide feet on the street and where you need it most. And most of the time, that's right here in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. The hub of what happens in the federal space happens right here. So we can provide those services for you. And we have tens of millions of dollars that are booked in both direct and indirect federal sales. We continue to grow that as we continue to service our clients, and it's all over the place. Here's some of the agencies, not all, but some of the agencies that we do work with in the federal space, and we have orders that are being processed all the time from these agencies. So if you want to get into the federal space, we can help you do that based on what you need, not with our connectivity, what you need and the people that you need to go out after. Also, real quick, if you do merchant card services, I want to point you to these folks, because these folks understand the government and they have the ability to drive down your rates on your credit cards. And I can't stress this enough, that in lean markets and thin places where you have thin margins, you got to be able to look for some of these things. And this can actually, if you get an extra point or point and a half on the bottom line, what does that do to your profitability? It should be probably, if you're thin on what you're selling to the government, and that also gets into your GSA schedule stuff, and we'll talk about that another time. But if you're thin on some of your products, you don't want to give it away to your credit card processor. So reach out to Revolution Payment Systems. So why are we here today? Come on, folks. If you haven't put it in on the right-hand side of your screen, go ahead. Don't be afraid. We'll get to it. April's here. If she learned who to contact within the VA and active duty. Great. Appreciate that, April. Jan, learn how to win some contracts. Absolutely. Jacqueline, gain insight on how to get in to seek program staff. Great. That's awesome, because you have two different sides of the house. You have program people and you have procurement people. Cheryl, finding winnable opportunities. Love that word, winnable opportunities. Kelly, help GSA completed. There you go, Jamie. There's somebody that needs your help. Lori, find those agencies that no one markets to. Woo, one of my favorites, because guess what? Some of those agencies that I popped up before, they're not the big ones, but they still have millions, some hundreds of millions, some of them billions of dollars that they spend every year. Karen from Griffith, interested in as much information as possible prior to initiating the first proposal. Great, because guess what? If you're responding to proposals, you ought to be responding to the ones that you can win, not the ones that, if you're going to turn into a proposal machine. I actually talked to somebody a while back, and they were 1 in 100. They turned in 100 proposals to win one. I don't have time to be a 99% loser, and neither do you. So that's a great thing. Get a strategy how small companies should target opportunities without past performance. Woo, another good one. The two things that are really important: a contract vehicle to sell off of and past performance. Well, how can you possibly get how can you get a contract if you don't have past performance? A catch-22. Great one. Get doors open. Love it, Kurt. Renee, develop other contract vehicles. Great. If you need a BPA or an IDIQ, absolutely. We won't talk about a whole lot of that today, but we do those kinds of things. Sonny, identify federal buyer and the chance to bid. Sonny's got it. Identify the federal buyer. Love it. Laurel, identify opportunities within our space and learn more about what they're looking for in a proposals. Great. Look at what's in it for them. What are they looking for? What's value to them? Love it, Laura. We'll be talking about that too. So if you have anything else that you want to add, we will certainly add to it. Feel free to reach that out. So and we'll do that. So 93% of the folks that sign up for this need help with business development. And coincidentally, that's actually what we do. Oh, hold on a second. Jamie's saying that the screen is paused for some reason. Let me undo this. There you go. So 93% of what we do is help with small business. I just went through all that, and you should have seen it, but you didn't. All right. So, well, there you go. What we're going to be doing is a free ebook we have available at ISI Federal. You can go and download this. We review this as part of our process. We're going to dive into some very specific tactics today, but we're also going to be doing this. So in our 12 steps review, we want to get smart about the marketplace. We'll talk about how you can do that. We want to build relationships with the stakeholders that are involved. We're going to tell you how to crack into that. And eventually we're going to get to a place where we improve our positions to the place where we can win. Sometimes we can compress that into a much, much faster way to go. But we want to understand it's a process. It's a long process in some instances. So what we've been focusing on is disrupting the current pattern. And we're going to be talking about the things that we've been doing to disrupt that pattern. First, if you understand what the SBA pattern is, they say get a GSA schedule. We've talked about that. Important, right? But it's not the end all and be all. You watch, they're telling you, after you get that schedule, watch FBO, monitor eBuy, watch, meet with the OSDBUs, the Office of Small Disadvantaged Business Utilization. Go to these small business matchmaking events so that you get to be able to meet people and make sure you register for those vendor databases so that you can be considered when that time comes. And get in your capabilities. Make sure we have your capabilities in our repository so that we can reach out to you. Guess what? The repository is a circular file. They're throwing it away. They're not paying attention to anything that happens on the vendor databases. And in fact, you're helping them award that to a large prime just by doing that. Oh, let me see. You still only see that? Does anybody see my screen right? Hold on a second. I'm going to pop this here and see something. I got the main screen here. I'm going to show. Let's pause. All right. Jamie, come on here a second. Tell me what you see. So I know that I'm at least talking to people the right way.
Yeah, SBA patterns, the slide that's up, buddy.
Okay, good deal. Thank you very much. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to ignore the SBA pattern. We're going to stay away from all this stuff that everybody's telling you to do in the federal space because people buy from people they like, and your job is simple. You want to find them and get them to like you. First, you got to know who they are, obviously, and we'll talk about that too. So guess what? People buy from people they like. So if they're not buying from you, then who are they buying from? They're buying from your competition right now as we speak. And the fact is, the people that matter most to you are the people that are buying from your competition, right? So what we need to do is figure out who those people are. And that's what we've been doing for the past 6 years. And we find the folks that are buying. So if you look at Don Wheatley, $4.5 million in a given year, that's a lot of chuck. And that's who we're after. And look, Matthew Butcher, $1.7 million. 1 year. This is in IT security. There's over $6 million. That's right in on this page. There's tens of millions of dollars. And these are coming from the large agencies like the Army and also smaller agencies like NRC. They might be flying under the radar for you. They're certainly flying under the radar. If you take a look at Matthew Butcher over here, I want to show you something real quick. Matthew's got 21 contracts for $1.7 million. And one of those contracts was $1 million. You got 20 contracts that are $771,000. That's a beautiful thing. We love those guys because those are the ones that are actually attainable and we can reach them. And the current pattern is this. The federal buyers are already have their resources that they're buying from, and they're satisfied with them. So and they already have existing contracts and vehicles to be able to buy from, and the people that are doing the buying don't like change. And they have relationships that are already solid. You are on the outside looking in on this. Even if you're in the federal space and you want to grow, you're on the outside looking in on this. So, in order to do that, we need to know who matters to us and go after those people specifically. You've got to disrupt this current pattern of buying. If you want to win. If you want to win, you're going to have to disrupt that. And that's what we're going to be talking about and how this works. Real quick, the key decision clusters, I call these are folks that get together around a particular project that they're purchasing. Remember that they have different roles, needs, and buying motives. Critical. If you're selling the same thing, the same pitch, the same way, guess what? You're going to miss one of those guys. Because the program manager doesn't necessarily even care if it's an 8A. They don't care. And the contracting officer doesn't even care what you do. They don't care. They want to know if you're going to be able to fulfill this contract and how easy it is. So you better be pitching them on the way that you do that. So in identifying the decision makers, you got to get organized, find the places where your work is being done, look for the top person that you can find, and identify the key people in the decision chain. That means the people that are involved in your decisions, just like we talked about. A key way to do this is identifying your bosses and peers and the highest contact level you can reach. We've talked about this in a high level. We're reviewing that. And in building relationships with the stakeholders, all of the stakeholders. So last month, we talked about manufacturing referrals. And this is getting a referral from somebody you don't know to somebody that you don't know. Crazy, right? Tell you what, it works like a champ every single time. If you do it this way, know who you want to reach, talk to a known associate, that's somebody that they already know, maybe a boss, a colleague, or a friend. Ask if they're the right folks. Are you the right person I should be talking to? If you know the person they want to reach. And ask if they're the good guys. Because it gives you a conversation piece and gives you the ability to be able to breathe some life into somebody and value them. Listen for their reaction on that and know whether or not you're going to have to change your tune a little bit. And if they're involved in what you do, that step's done. And ask of all the folks that work with Sally on this, is there anyone else you think I really need to know? You can actually get a referral to multiple people on one phone call from somebody that you never met. Smoking works like a champ. You know why it works? Because if your approach is right, you'll get in the door and it'll work. So the musts before you can do that, there's 3 of them. You must know who matters most to you. You can't possibly know, you can't get a referral to somebody that you haven't met yet if you don't know who you're after. Again, here are the folks that are buying what you sell. And the other 2, have resources in place to pursue them. Somebody's got to freaking make the phone calls. Somebody's got to pick up the phone. So if it's not you, somebody on your staff has to, or somebody like us has to. And that's the other piece that we do, is we provide these services so that we can support you in whatever way you need. Once we understand what the market is and we know who matters to you, we can go and dedicate some of those resources to pursue them for you. The next thing is important is believe it can be done. I'm working with one of our clients right now on this. They don't believe that it can be done. They don't believe it. Their staff doesn't believe it. And if you don't believe it, you're right. It's not going to work. So we're going to be talking about that too. So we're talking about persuasive phone tactics and reaching out to these people to be able to get something from them. And last month, we were reaching out to them to get a referral. Great. That's great. Before you pick up the phone, here's the method. You got to know what you want from them before you get off the phone. Know what you want the outcome of that call to be. And part of that has to be what's in it for them. What's in it for them on the other side of that? Some of this stuff, they may need somebody, wham, bam, they need somebody right now. They may need to have an order fulfilled and you've never talked to them before. That's okay. But you got to know what's in it for them. And most of the time, it's not an order. Most of the time, it's not an order at this stage. If you know that they're buying from your competition, the order is not going to you. And chances are you're not going to pick up the phone and say, hey, man, there's people, and let me say this. People are not getting ready in the morning and saying, man, I hope Dave Lowe calls and tells me there's a new place for me to buy office supplies. They're not thinking that. They already have staples. They already have the way their methodologies and the processes in place. They already have those people in place. So know what's in it for them. Know what you want. Know what's in it for them. And the next one is believing it will work. I'm so hard on this right now because of what what I'm dealing with one of my clients. So you're in the middle of me processing things to help my clients. And finally, the last part is act as if. We as human beings have the ability to act as if something is happening, even if it's not, if we believe. If we believe, we can act as if it is. No other creature on this planet can do this. Dogs can't do it. Nobody can do it. They don't act as if. They're living their day. We have the ability to project things and make things work if we believe they will. So let's get into it. What do you really want from them? Of course, we mentioned before, if you have an order, great. Take the order. We definitely want to take the order. If there's something there that's low-hanging fruit, whammo, we want to take it. But ultimately, most of the time, we're looking for a meeting, face-to-face, if we can get. Face-to-face meeting. That way they can see you're real. You can see they're real. You can be real together. And next thing you know, you're building a relationship on something that matters. So this is actually the order of which I operate. I look for, if there's an order to be had, take it. If there's a meeting, if I can get the face-to-face meeting, great. If I need to fall back to a conference call, great. I could do that. Schedule a time to follow up for an online presentation like this. A follow-up call, just, hey, more casual. You can see these get more casual. Hey, I'm just going to send you capabilities. You let me know if there's something that makes any sense for you. And I'll leave you alone for the most part, and I'll touch base from time to time. And then finally, a referral. And we'll talk about this in a minute. We already talked about how to get a referral from somebody that you haven't talked to, but there's always the opportunity for this. And we'll talk about why. So what's in it for them? Everything that you do should be revolving around what makes people buy from people, which is people they like. So what's in it for them? Somebody they like. You want to be someone they like, someone they can trust, someone who's helpful and who can help them. And this is the one that makes so much money. Someone who values them. These folks sit and do the same thing over and over and over and over again. I cannot do their job. I tell them that. I jump off a bridge. I shoot myself in the head. Whatever you want to call it. I would not be able to handle it. I can't do it. So I value the fact that they can. That they're in a position that what they do is so mundane. I said it about Jamie before. I can't stand the paperwork. You put the paperwork in my hands, I'm going to jack it up every time. Every freaking single time. Because guess what? That's not me. That's not what I do. And I'm not good at it. I'm not. So I can value them and the fact that they are good at it. And the fact that they are good at spending, identifying people that they like to spend tens of millions of dollars. Some of these folks spend hundreds of millions of dollars every year. Hundreds of millions go through their hands. It's not hard for me to understand their value to me. I need them to know that I value them beyond the money. The money comes separate. The money comes after all these things. If they like me, if they trust me, if they know I'm there to help them, that shows value. And also personally, if I personally value what they do. Or guess what? I'm this guy. Somebody that just wants their money. Do I want their money? Yes, I want their money. But I don't want their money until they know I'm in it for the long haul. Sure, I'll do the order, but guess what? I'm not stopping there. The order is so secondary to the relationship because the relationship breeds repeat business and more business. And there are people that tell you, got to bid. Rubbish. You don't have to bid. Get in, get a BPA. They can spend $1 million, $2 million, $10 million with you. Don't have to ever hit the street again. There's 2.5 million contracts that are executed every single year. And only about 125,000 hit Fed BizOps. Do the math on that. Where is the rest of the money? All right. So persuasive phone tactics and your belief structure. I'm going to start talking about belief. Belief is immune to logic. This is a novel. I pulled this off the internet this morning, so it may be true, maybe not. But they are credited to James Siegel, so I'm giving him credit. Belief is immune to logic. It operates on its own laws. Love that. Love it. Belief is immune to logic. So let's see what else we got. Believe it will work. If we can once believe that success is possible, success becomes possible. That's Frank Chapman Sharp. If we can once believe that success is possible, success becomes possible. Believe that you can, and you are right. Believe you can't, and you're also right. Either way, you're going to be right. If you believe you can't do it, I promise you can't do it. I promise you. But if you believe you can, you will do it, and it will work. And this is some other famous guy. I don't know who he is. We gather evidence to support our beliefs. I keep saying this. We view our lives through a lens, and we gather that evidence. If we're disgruntled, we're just going to find things to be disgruntled about. If you have disgruntled employees, you watch them. They do it all the time. They're disgruntled all the time. And they're looking for ways to be disgruntled. Positive people look for ways to be able to positively reinforce. And when they run into a little snag, they're looking for ways to be able to say, how do I get out? As opposed to, I'm trapped. We know, we see these people. You might be one of these people. And from time to time, I'm one of these people, right? I don't believe it can be done. And if I don't believe it can be done, you're doggone right. It can't be done. But we're going to gather the evidence, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So act as if. If we can act as if we start to restructure our belief structure so that we believe that it can be done, and we can act when we pick up the phone, and we are somebody that they like. We are someone they can trust. We are someone that's helpful to them, and we are someone who actually does value them for more than just their money and what they can do. What do you got for me? What do you got for me? What do you got for me? Rubbish. I don't care about that. Tell me about you. And one of the things that I did the other day that I'm going to read right now. And I'll say things. And Jamie, you've heard me say things like this because you've been on some of the calls that we've had. Like, what's going on in the fine state of California these days? How are you holding up so far this new year? Can you believe it's February, flipping February already? Can you believe that? Jiminy Christmas. How you doing out there? How are you doing? Did that sound like somebody that you just talked to for the first time? No. That sounded like somebody that I already knew. How do you talk to people that you know? Act as if you know them already. We had a great story from one of our clients. His name is Simon. He's a purchaser up in Detroit. So what we're doing is we're getting them to call. We're calling actual clients already. We're just looking to make sure that they know about new business stuff that we're doing. So we're calling, and she talks to him for 25 minutes. I said, that was a great conversation. How come that worked? Oh, because we're comfortable with each other. And he's looking out for us. He's defending us. He's making sure that we're the ones that only get considered when this stuff comes out. Exactly the kind of client that you want. So the question is, how do you get the next Simon? You believe that they are the next Simon. All you have to do is put Simon in your brain and see that next person as Simon and believe that they are. And guess what? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It actually works that way. So act as if you know them already. You're already friends. You already have a relationship. You can put yourself in the future and say, man, I can see me. And we've already been doing a whole bunch of jobs together. And we had some mistakes and we fixed them. And we're on, 2 years from now, we're going to be looking back saying, wow, that was a really good conversation we had today. That first phone conversation where we really clicked, that was really cool. And next thing you know, you are someone they like because you put it right through the phone, right through the freaking phone. And if you don't believe that's true, listen to the next telemarketing call you get because it's probably going to be just like this. They're just somebody else that wants to take some of their money. They want something. They want something. And they want it now. They want it right freaking now. If you don't got something for me, you're no value to me if you don't have business for me right this minute. And one of the biggest problems that you got as business people out in the federal space, you want it right now, and you're not going to get it right now. Most of the time. Not 99 times out of 100, 999 times out of 1,000, probably even worse. So this is a building process. It's very much a farming type of process. You lay your seed. You cultivate that seed. You watch the seed grow. You protect it from the weeds. You go through the process. You watch it grow, and then, after a time, you have fruit. Make sense? So act as if. All right, so the person that you're calling, there's only 3 possibilities. Only 3. They are a decision maker. They're not a decision maker, but they know one. Or they are both a decision maker and they know one. You do your work up front. You know who you're after, and you definitely are going to have number 1. So the best case scenario, now they could change, right? You call somebody, I don't do that anymore. I don't buy office supplies anymore. I'm buying planes. Okay, great. Congratulations. Who's buying the office supplies? They still know who the decision maker is, even if they were one and are no longer one. But they could be both. And in that case, you have a decision maker and a referral to a decision maker. Can't get any better than that. So the next thing is you got to freaking pick up the phone. Pick up the phone, set aside the time. And I pulled this is actually the name of a company, smileanddial.org. Love it. Just want to give them props because that's a winner. Smile and Dial. Pick up the phone. Be happy. Be somebody worth having on the phone. Cool? So once you get them on the phone, remember what you want from them. In order. In order. Now, the order's there. You get that order, get that project, get the win. But don't stop. Even if you get it. Don't stop. There's other things that you can get. Get that face-to-face. And if you don't believe, let me just talk about belief structure and face-to-face meetings. If you don't believe you will have a face-to-face meeting, you will not have a face-to-face meeting. This week, I have 7 face-to-face meetings with people I've never met before, booked by my staff for me. Can do. Can be done. Does work. And there are people that tell you they won't take the meetings and that they don't meet with vendors. How could that possibly be? That's all they do is meet with vendors. They may only meet with vendors that they do business with. Got it. That's what they think. So either they're going to sell you on the fact that they're not going to meet with you, or you're going to sell them on the fact that they will. So key principles that revolve around this. Really, really important. Keep the ball in your court. Number 1 thing, you are in control of the destiny of what happens here. Keep it in your court. So do you leave messages? No messages. Why? Why don't you leave messages, Dave? I hear this all the time. Why don't you? Because if I leave messages, then the ball's in their court. Best case scenario, they pick up the phone and call me back. What are the chances that I'm thinking about what I'm supposed to be talking to them about when they call back? 0. I can't remember 15 minutes ago. If I pick up a phone, talk to them, if I don't write it down, it's done. If I don't make a record of it, it's done. Because my brain is like a sieve. And it's big old sieve. It just runs right through it. So keep the ball in your court. You know why you're calling them. You know what you're after. You know that you're going to go through your process, book the face-to-face. If not that, then get a phone call. If not that, then get a follow-up. If not that, then get a, hey, I'm sending you capabilities. And, oh, by the way, if you're not the guy, tell me who the guy is. Right? Clear. So ask them for what you want. But just remember this. People usually don't get married on an introductory phone call. That's why it all breaks down. When you pick up the freaking phone and you're like, what you got for me today? Why should I even care about you? In fact, you are telling me, try that next time. Call up somebody, ask them, hey, you want to get married? What? No, they're not going to do it. There's no reason for them to do it. They already have relationships with people. They're already buying from people that they like. They know that they're proven and they're very happy with, by the way. So what's your job? Your job is to disrupt that pattern. Disrupt it. And if they already have 4 people that they're doing business with and really love them, they'd always love to have a 5th person that they really love. Everybody wants another key person that they can reach out to in their life. And here's another piece. Be faithful in the small things. This is a biblical principle, dude. This is biblical. Doesn't get any better. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with a lot. So if they give you a little job, go after a little job. Buy it if you have to. And guess what? If you screw up, that's okay. Because if you screw up and you fix it and you come out on top, that's better than doing it right. What? You better believe it. Somebody who sees you struggle and fix it and know that you're in it to help them and get to the end of that. Absolutely. Positively works. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with a lot. If they tell you, hey, talk to so-and-so, even if it's a small business liaison, do it. Why? Because they want to see you listen to them. So if you listen to them, then they'll wind up being able to trust you with these other things. Here's a couple of other things. People remember an insignificant event for 21 days. This is a natural human thing. I just said I can't remember 21 minutes, right? I can't remember. So if you call me back, now I might remember, if you call me and you bomb, let's say you screw it up totally, and you're like, oh man, I totally blew that call. I'm never going to be able to get business with them ever, 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 ever. 21 days, pick up the phone and call as if you didn't. Guess what? They don't remember that call. You might remember it, so don't let that infect your brain. But they're not going to remember it. You pick up the phone call and act as if you never talked to them before. Or get in a referral to them and say, oh, by the way, hey, John suggested I give you a shout. They don't even remember that you tried 21 days before. They have to be some kind of swami to be able to do that. Because they're just deluged with people. They're deluged with insignificant events, right? So one thing about that is, if you bomb, it's an insignificant event. The other thing about that is, don't be insignificant. Be of value to them right out of the gate. And next thing you know, you're going to have something that works. Persistence pays. Can't tell you. Oh my gosh, this is huge. Everybody's like, well, they don't have anything. They don't have anything. They don't have anything. You know why they don't have anything? Because nothing's on their desk right now that's requiring them to buy from you. They don't have anything on their desk. They may not have anything on their desk for the next 3 or 4 months. It may be September before they have it. But guess what? Persistence pays. Because if you keep doing this every 21 days, like clockwork, sometime they're going to have something on their desk when you call. And if you're not calling every 21 days, it's not going to you because they don't remember who you are. And that's critical. This is where your persistence and those resources come. Being different is good. Do something different. Certainly do something that would normally be comfortable. Sometimes in the initial phone call, I might be busting on somebody, especially if they're from Pittsburgh. If they're from Pittsburgh, I'm like, I can't talk to you anymore because I'm a Ravens fan. I can't talk to you anymore. And immediately we're talking about something that is outside of business, connecting on a level that would be good friends who have different teams. They bust on each other all the time. They're constantly cracking on each other. Oh, you're a Steelers fan. Oh, you're a Ravens fan. Oh, you guys get, your wife beaters and all this other stuff, right? That's what so all that stuff becomes part of what would normally happen between friends. And friends like each other. And if they like you, they're going to tend to buy from you. If they don't like you, they're certainly not going to buy from you. So different is good. Being different, being comfortable is also part of that. Last one, be you. Don't try to be me. Don't try to be somebody else that you think is a superstar salesperson. Be you. Some of the best salespeople I know are different than your type A personalities that are out there being the spokesperson and being perfect in everything that they do. Rubbish. That's not real life. Be you. Be the best you can be. Let them see you. A lot of this, if you think about it, persistence, being different, being you. Have you ever seen the movie Hitch? Great movie. Do you know what the definition of persistence is, Ms. Milas? As Will Smith is talking to her on a walkie-talkie, not a phone, walkie-talkie. Being different. Different is good. And he also says they want to see you. Whoever it is wants to see you. They may not want to see all of you all at once, but they want to see you. Same thing applies here. Human interaction. Being valuable. Breathing life into somebody that's not having a great day. And they're different. They're different from you. That's okay. Value the difference. Cool. So there you go. Any questions about this? Run through a couple of things that are, I think these are basic, but they're also advanced because they're so counterintuitive to what happens today. So what do we got for questions? Anybody? Throw them on out. You can open that panel on the right-hand side. Okay, let's see. Lisa. What you got there, Lisa? Hold on a second. I can't read this thing. Lisa. Lisa says, how can I find the people? Great. We're going to talk about that. Anybody else? So if that's it, we're going to go dive into how we find the people. All right, let's do it. All right, so the musts. It leads us right into this. Thank you for that lead in, Lisa. Musts, you got to know who matters to you. Then you have to dedicate the resources to pursue them and believe that it can be done. We embody this part. So if you know who matters to you, when I started getting into this federal space, I said, look, this stuff is so freaking confusing. I'm not from the federal world. I'm from the outside. So with this, we look for the people that bubble to the top. If there's anything we do better than anybody else, it's this. Because if we're really smart about the people that we're going after, then the people that we're going after is going to have the money. If they spent it last year, they're going to spend it this year. And if we know that they're spending it with one of our competitors, then we can get it from them. Are there times we can't get it from them? Certainly. They may have just won a 5-year contract and we can't play for 5 years. But that's okay because we're not in it for the short term. We're in it for the long haul. And we'll remember that when that comes around about 3.5 years from now. And we start to butter them up again to start working those contacts. And maybe we stay in touch with them. Maybe not every 21 days. Maybe we call them every 30, 60 days. That's okay. Just check in. Because guess what? Not all of their work is going to go through that contract. And maybe there's one that falls out of that could be good for you. And maybe it's only 50 grand. Okay, it's fine. Give me a start. Give me a shot at 50 grand. Give me something that gets me started. And I'm real happy. There's 346.4 billion next 232 days. The most important thing to know is there's 232 days left in this fiscal year. Unbelievable. We're almost halfway through. Almost halfway through. We're only in February. That's right. Fiscal year started October 1. And it went through a lull, and now it's picking up. And there's $500 billion to get spent. Most of that gets spent in September on new projects. And guess what? If you're not in front of the key decision makers right now, you're already behind your competition. You're already behind. You're behind even if your competition doesn't have any business and they've been doing it since October 1. Because chances are If you want something to change, you're going to have to make that change. You got to give them a reason to make that change. So get smart about the marketplace. That's what we're talking about. If there's any more questions, I don't see any, and I want to be respectful of time, and I have a late lunch meeting, so I'm going to get out of here in a few minutes. Daniel, how do I find key contacts in the construction industry? Perfect question. That happens that way too. What are the specific steps for finding decision makers for chemicals? Great questions, both. And the fact of the matter is, if we understand who your competition is, in both cases, let's take both construction and chemicals. If we know who your key competition is, then we can go through and discern how it is that they're buying. And they can even be small. It doesn't matter much, but if they have business in the federal space, you're losing to them. If you're losing to these people, we need to know who they're the folks that are buying from them. I'm not big on reinventing the wheel. I'm big on stealing the wheels right off of the carts that other people are using. And when we do that, if we understand what your competition is doing, then we're in good shape. So to do that, again, that's our link services. This is what, we find things that people can't find on their own. This is a $70 million company. They're doing business, and we help them do that business, either direct or indirect, either way in the federal space. So the Market Essentials package, if you want to know about that, you can go to ISI Federal and you can see it. It's the key contacts who buy your stuff and your competitors' contacts, most importantly. Because if we can get laser focused about your competition, we can certainly do that. This will uncover the under the radar contracts and give you a breakdown of the agency spending so you know where to spend your time. I'm least impressed by the agency spending, but some people are impressed by the fact they're spending billions of dollars. I'm not. I'm more impressed about how much did this person spend with my competition. Because if I can compete for that and I can give them a good choice for second place and I can take away 10, 15, 20% of that business, that's good enough for me because I'll own that in 2 or 3 years. So as we think about the process, that is the most important process to start with, and you can save $505. It's regularly $4,500, and we have some new improvements that we just done. This price is not going to stick because some of the improvements that we're making makes our data incredibly valuable. So this is not going to stick for long. So if you're interested, let's get going. If you want to know about people that already have business in the federal space, William Scotsman owns the federal space. They're already booking 25% of trailers go to William Scotsman. They dominate. That's dominant. They already have salespeople. All we did was get them the Market Essentials and gave them a way for them to change their federal strategy in a way that they just had no idea because they didn't know the real people at the end. And we helped them understand those people and their value, the most important people to you. It's the best intelligence we've seen, 100% clarity into their market, change their way that they operate. Again, $346 billion happened by September 30th and $846 billion by September 2016. This is critical. Everything that you're doing revolves around this. And now couldn't be a better time to get involved. So let's go get some of this cash. If you want to know some more about this, and here's another thing that we can do, by the way, we can apply some of those resources. We talked about the Market Essentials and knowing who to do it. We can actually do some introductions for you, and that includes the Essentials, Market Essentials, what we talked about, finding those people, the capabilities review so that your message is right, and we email them. It's a great process that happens, gets an introduction, first and second follow-up. We get dialogue with these folks at a ridiculous rate. And if we're targeting 650 of them and we have 20% dialogue, you do the math. And those are the people that are buying what you sell. We understand how these people buy. We know how to make the message work for them. So we can actually go out and market with them, which gets you the first parts of that, and you can save $1,101 on that. So it's $52.49 for the Market Essentials plus Blitz is what we call that. You can check that out on isifederal.com. You can also download the Going for Gold Winning Business with the Government is absolutely free. and you can download that and enjoy that. Reach out to Revolution Payment Systems if you're doing credit card processing, especially if you're doing it in the government, because it'll save you some dollars. And with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Jamie, you got any parting comments? We do have a GSA webinar coming up next week, which we're going to concentrate on some of the changes that are happening with professional services contracts within GSA. And Jamie's going to be leading that because I'm going to be out of town. So what's your thought on that, just as a primer?
Out of town in a major league kind of way. Yeah, there's some great, exciting changes coming up through GSA about professional schedules like engineering services, MOBIS, things like that. And it's good news actually for you out there as a schedule holder. It's going to make things easier and better. We're going to be digging into that deeper next week, next Tuesday on our seminar about GSA.
That's right. So if you want to know about that, reach out to us if you already have a GSA schedule. If not, if you have professional services, it's going to change. They thought that they're going to be rolling this out next month, but everybody with any real sense knew that it wasn't going to happen, and it's been pushed off to October. That's what we're hearing anyway, right, Jamie?
Yeah, you bet. The other thing, too, if you're out there as an existing schedule holder, make sure your schedule's current. We offer that as a service, very low flat rate fee. Love to talk to you about getting your schedule current, adding products, deleting old ones, adding new services, and doing important things like economic price adjustments or EPAs. Certainly reach out, give me a call on that. Love to talk with you about your schedule and getting things current and correct.
Sweet. All right, guys. I have a lunch meeting that I have to get to, so I'm going to bail. We got this done in record time, and we're going to be introducing this even shorter. We're going to be shorting this up, but we appreciate the dialogue, appreciate the exchange. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either one of us, and we'll be glad to help you out. So enjoy the rest of your February, and hopefully we get into March and it starts to warm up around here. Good gravy. It's been freaking cold around here. So we're looking forward to the spring thawing, hopefully happening sooner than later. And next week I'm off to go explore a different land. So I'll explain that when I get back. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of February, and we'll see you next month.